Yes, and so we had begun to start, Ray, about getting a practice started, and that the most important quality of this practice is that we do it in seclusion, that we get away from other things, that we get away from the desk, from the work, from all of the work, all the things that we do. But we can do that by walking in nature. That in fact, walking meditation is highly recommended, but you can do it in any posture at all. Normally, the most relaxing posture would be just to sit down. And so, sitting posture would be desirable. And in Asia, especially in the tropics, even today, after 2,500 years, many people don't bother having furniture. They don't need it. The Thai people generally eat sitting on the floor. Um, that the Western mind, though, has gotten used to
Also, some in my
furniture.
culture.
Pardon?
Also, some in my culture. Uh, uh, where I come from.
Okay. So, whether you're sitting on the floor for meditation or not is not the issue. But for some reason, sitting cross legged on the floor has become the style of practice, thinking that the form of the practice is more important than the content of the practice. But really, it's the content of the practice of what we're doing, not what posture we're sitting in while we're doing it. The next point is that if we only do it once a day, even if it's for an hour, generally people can't do it for an hour anyway because the attention span only lasts about 20 minutes, and so the rest of that time is going to be when the mind is tired. So even with that, if they're not practicing the rest of the time, but only during that sitting time, then that means that the hindrances are going to be there the other 23 hours a day, as well as the fact that before they ever started to practice, that's all they had was hindrances. So, with hindrances as a full pattern of habit, as well as continuing to do it 23 hours a day, and that meditation practice doesn't look like it is going to get uh, to win that case.
Mhm.
And so, a better way of practicing is to take that same hour, but to break it up throughout the day. Now, that tends actually to be hard. So, I would recommend for the very beginner maybe 4 times a day, and then later we can add time for maybe 6 times a day to practice.
Six
And we,
times, 6 times of 10 minutes, or four.
or 15 minutes, right? Let's start with about 4 times a day, 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And then if
Mhm.
you can get good success in 10 minutes, then do 10 minutes 6 times a day, right? And one of the
Is
times to do it is after you go to bed at night before you go to sleep. Another one is when you wake up in the morning before you get out of bed. So those are 2 times right then that you can spend 15 minutes and throughout the day. So if we do it several times a day, we can begin to build up the pattern or begin to build up the habit so that between those sessions, we can remember to do it. Now, the number one skill to be developed is the skill of Sati, or the skill of remembering to come back to the present moment, to remember to come to the here now.
Mhm.
That's the number one skill. And so we want to practice that skill first off, just by doing it often. And we're practicing that with these 4 10-minute or 15-minute sessions to practice to remember. And there we're going to remember with each in breath and to remember with each out breath. That this in breath is going to be a long in breath, and this out breath is going to be a long out breath. That is the development of the skill of Sati. Now, any skills that you do have, if you don't remember to do those skills when you need them most, they're not going to be of much use to you. That a skill is only a skill when you can remember to apply it just at the right time when it's needed. Then that's really skillful. Okay, so that's why Sati is on the Buddha's list. That many people will go to psychotherapy and learn all about themselves, but then at the right time when they need that information, they don't remember. And so they really haven't made any change. All they've done is having let us say, an intellectual understanding, but they haven't put it into practice yet. It's almost like the difference between hearing a piece of music. Perhaps you even hear it over and over again, but that's not the same thing as being able to play it.
Mm-hmm.
So the practice is learning how to play, and the playing is to remember to play. Is that making any sense? You have to remember to keep practicing and keep practicing and keep practicing. So that's the skill of Sati. And as we develop that 4 to 6 times a day, then that skill will begin to show up other times of the day. So that we can, in between, we can stop, remember, take a deep breath, and enjoy the moment. So this is the quality that we're looking for, is the quality of remembering to look at what's going on, to remember to come back into the senses and to be here now, rather than in the mind, which is almost always dwelling in the past or in the future. An example of that would be that you lost some money or on the stock market or whatever like that, and now we got to get it back and got to get it back and got to get it back, not recognizing that we're really uncomfortable and miserable while we're doing that. And because we're excited, we may not, in fact, do a very good job of getting the money back. That it might be a good idea, in fact, to take a while and to sit down and rest and relax, telling ourselves, we're going to be all right without that money right now. I don't have to get it back right now. I can enjoy the moment right now. Okay, and so
So
we begin. That's the way that we begin to practice, is we begin to practice of being okay in this present moment. That this moment is okay. Even though it may have tension, that's okay. Even though it might have a desire for something or another, that's okay. We're going to practice being all right. We're going to practice being okay. We're going to practice taking a deep breath and relaxing, and everything is all right. That everything is all right is a new way of talking, because normally the things that we're saying is about how much trouble that there is and how much I need or how much I want or how much I've got to do or I've got to get this done or that done, right? So now we're coming to the point of actually practicing being satisfied with what we've got already, as if we had already done what needed to be done. That's in fact the right kind of attitude to have, is whatever job that needed to be done has now been done. And there's no more jobs to do right now. I can actually, in this present moment, relax. Now, there may be some new work in the future, but that's not my problem. Because when I get to the future, if I have this attitude when I get there, then I can handle that too. So we need to practice getting our mind into the attitude of everything's okay, everything is all right, no worries, no need for any problems. Any tensions or anxieties are there, I can just play with those as toys. And so if there's anxiety, I can breathe into that anxiety and say, never mind, so there's anxiety, so what? I'm okay. And then the thought of money will come up, and then the anxiety will come up. And we say, never mind, not a problem. Everything is all right. I don't have to think about money right now. I can think about how nice this moment is. Everything is okay. Now, while we're doing this, we're actually practicing the Eightfold Noble Path. The number one item on the path is to wake up. That's the Sati. Rather than just letting the mind roll on, worried about this, that, and the other thing, which is the normal way, now we're going to wake up to be in the senses. An example of that is to wake up and smell the coffee. You can't smell the coffee if you're asleep. But if you wake up, then you can inhale. You can take the cup and take a deep in breath and smell the coffee. So this is basically what we're talking about, is to come back into the present moment rather than off into the future of I got to get that done, I got to get it done, I got to get it done. And so that we can be comfortable and happy right now, easy in this present moment. So we begin to talk ourselves into that using that kind of language like everything's okay, everything is fine, no problems, no worries. And we begin to have wholesome thoughts, one wholesome thought after another. And when thoughts of, oh, I've got to go get that money, come up, we can say, never mind right now. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do that when the stock market is open. I'll do that at another time. Right now, I'm going to just sit and take a deep breath and relax. And this is how we're going to practice during those 4, 10, 15-minute sessions so that you can allow yourself that 10 minutes to actually get yourself into a state of relaxation so that
Mm.
you're comfortable and happy and satisfied with this present moment.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. So, can
I'll
you
start.
do that? I bet you
I will
can.
start. I'll start tonight. I just don't know if I could go a full hour. That's the only problem. Like, I don't know
Well,
if I'll be like,
10 minutes? Can you do for 10 minutes?
yeah, that's what I'm thinking of more. 10, yeah. I'll really, really try to do the full 15. I just remembered in the past, I used to do 20 minutes once a day, and it would be really, really difficult for me.
20
Um,
minutes is like the outside of the attention span. So staying within that in attention span, but doing it often, doing when the mind is fresh, keeping the
mhm,
mind fresh by breathing deeply. That normally what happens with the students is they forget about breathing and then the breathing gets really shallow and then they get tired. But if you keep breathing, then you can stay oxygenated and then you don't get tired so quickly. But this is a skill that needs to be developed. And so practicing it for 10 minutes, and then later you can go for a little bit longer. But right now,
mhm.
start with 10 minutes, 4 times a day. That'll be good. And that's twice
Oh,
as much as 20 minutes a day, which you weren't getting anything out of.
yeah. Could you give me also a few more examples of wholesome thoughts?
I just gave you a whole series of wholesome thoughts. Did you hear
Mhm.
me?
Yeah.
Thoughts like, I don't have to listen to that right now. I don't have to think about that right now. Everything right now is okay. Everything right now is all right. Let me just sit here and relax. Just take a deep breath and wow, how comfortable it is. And I really enjoy this breath. And so we begin to pay attention to what's in the senses. We can begin to see when we're on a walk. We just kind of look around the general area that we're in and just pay attention to it with great delight. Learn to become delighted with the moment. Everything is okay right now. Wow, what a nice moment this is. Those are all wholesome thoughts, every one of them.
I'm 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 so excited to start.
Yeah, just everything is okay. Everything is fine. These are not affirmations. These are not lies. We want to actually give ourselves the wholesome reality. The real point is that right now you are okay. Right now you can feel safe. There are no dangers there right now. You don't have IRS agents banging on your door. The SEC is not crawling in the window.
Mhm.
All right, your broker is not on the phone with you. You're safe right now.
Yeah.
So imagine that you are safe. So telling yourself that you're safe is a very wholesome thought. Telling yourself, "Oh, I've got to go do this because it's really dangerous if I don't," that's an unwholesome thought.
Got
The
it.
wholesome thoughts are everything is okay, everything is fine. Another way of looking at it is nurturing thoughts, to nurture yourself. Everything is fine, no problems, got no issues, no troubles. Everything is going to be all right. These are the wholesome, nurturing kind of thoughts. And we just practice those over and over and over and over again. And when the old thought comes to mind, never mind, I don't need that thought. I can come back and enjoy the moment.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, so you go practice that for several days and give me another call and we'll continue on with this, okay?
Sure. Will do. Thank you very much.
Right, Ray. This has been a short one, but this is good. You got it. So you go practice, okay?
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.